In the vast universe of the Milky Way, where alien civilizations have advanced with superior technologies, humans are always seen as the underdogs, the country bumpkins with outdated technology. At the heart of this story is Jed Mackenzie, and his crew aboard the Rusty Bucket. The Rusty Bucket doesn't have a sleek hull or advanced control systems. Instead, it is an old, patched-up ship using technologies that other races deem obsolete. This makes the ship and its crew the subjects of ridicule and disdain from more advanced species. Jed Mackenzie, a tough man with a distinct southern accent, has spent his life working in Earth's junkyards. There, he learned to dodge debris, and maneuver through tight spaces with agility and reflexes. His intuition and skills have been honed over years of working in this harsh environment. The endless hours in the junkyard taught Jed how to feel every vibration of the ship, how to listen to the tiniest sounds to know when to adjust, and how to make the most of old technology to keep the ship running. Ricky, Jed's loyal companion, is an incurable optimist who always believes in their abilities. With his messy hair and bright smile, Ricky brings optimism and motivation to the team. Gordo, rough-looking but kind-hearted, always plays the role of the cautious one, warning of potential dangers. With his strong hands and skillful repair abilities, Gordo ensures that everything on the Rusty Bucket runs smoothly. The Milky 500 race is one of the most prestigious and dangerous events in the galaxy. This race is not only a test of piloting skills but also a test of the pilot's courage and resilience. The Milky 500 spans 500 light-years, through perilous regions of space, asteroid fields with unpredictable drifting rocks, violent iron storms that can disable a ship's systems in an instant, and the air in nebula, a swirling vortex of ionized gases that disrupts sensors and navigation systems. On this racecourse, there is no place for the faint-hearted. Alien pilots from all over the galaxy, with their sleek ships and advanced technology, see the Rusty Bucket as a joke. Their ships are equipped with powerful energy shields, advanced air navigation systems, and powerful jet engines. Compared to them, the Rusty Bucket looks like a piece of scrap. However, Jed doesn't let the mockery get to him. He is confident in his intuition and skills, honed through countless hours working in Earth's junkyards. The neon lights of Zonia Prime reflect off the Rusty Bucket's chrome plating as the ship enters the planet's space. Zonia Prime is a vast city sprawling across the planet's surface, a hive of activity with life from every corner of the galaxy. Skyscrapers adorned with towering holographic advertisements, bustling streets where merchants sell exotic goods, and street performers entertain curious crowds. The air is thick with the smells of alien species and the hum of countless conversations in dozens of different languages. Jed knows that to win the Milky 500 race, they need more than advanced technology. They need human intuition, courage, and ingenuity. He and his crew have meticulously prepared for this race, checking every small detail on the Rusty Bucket to ensure it can withstand the challenges ahead. As they prepare for the race, Jed stands on the ship's bridge, looking out into the vastness of space and feeling every vibration of the ship beneath his hands. He knows this race will be a major challenge, but he also knows they have a chance. With sharp intuition and extensive experience, Jed believes they can overcome any challenge ahead. "Let's show them what the Rusty Bucket can do, boys," Jed's voice echoes through the intercom with a hint of his southern accent, expressing his determination and confidence. Ricky checks the control systems, his eyes shining with excitement. Gordo, with his strong hands, checks the engines and equipment, ensuring everything is running smoothly. The lights of Zonia Prime fade as the Rusty Bucket takes off, heading toward the racecourse. The ship speeds away with the engines roaring like a wild beast. The Rusty Bucket may not look impressive, but inside, it is a reliable machine that has weathered many challenges and is always ready for new adventures. The Milky 500 race is not just a speed contest, it is also an opportunity to prove that humans are not the underdogs. They are determined to use all their skills and experience to overcome all obstacles and win, proving to the entire galaxy the ingenuity and resilience of humanity. In the vast and dangerous space of the Milky Way, the Rusty Bucket speeds along, carrying the hopes and determination of all humanity. The Milky 500 race is about to begin, and Jed and his crew are ready. With determination and self-belief, they prepare to embark on an adventure full of danger but also full of hope. The Rusty Bucket is not just an old ship, it is a symbol of human ingenuity, an indomitable spirit, and proof that no one can underestimate humanity. As the ship sails into the endless void, Jed looks ahead, his gaze determined and unwavering. He knows that difficult challenges lie ahead, but he also knows they are ready. With courage and resilience, they will prove that humans are not the underdogs, but the winners, those who can overcome any challenge and conquer any summit. The day of the Milky 500 race, excitement and tension filled the atmosphere of Zonia Prime. On the planet's surface, millions of beings from across the galaxy had gathered to witness this grand event. Holographic advertisements lit up the sky, displaying information about the race, famous pilots, and the most advanced spacecraft. Among them, Jed Mackenzie's Rusty Bucket stood out, not because of its flashy appearance, but because of its old and patched-up look. The rusty patches, the haphazard repairs, and the mismatched parts created a stark contrast to the sleek ships around. But it was this appearance that made the Rusty Bucket unique and special. Jed, with determined and resolute eyes, stood before his ship, making one last check before the race began. Ricky, his optimistic companion, was busy checking the control systems. "Everything is ready, Captain," Ricky said, his voice full of excitement. Gordo, the skillful mechanic, was checking the engines and other critical components. "Everything's stable, Jed. We can do this," Gordo said, his voice reassuring the whole team. The signal for the race blared, breaking the quiet atmosphere. The spacecraft began to start up, their engines roaring like wild beasts. The Rusty Bucket shook violently as Jed hit the throttle, its old but powerful engine roaring to life. The modern ships shot off like lightning, quickly leaving the Rusty Bucket behind. Mocking laughter echoed through the communication channels of the alien pilots. "The country bumpkins are back," a mocking voice from a garden pilot taunted. Jed remained calm, his eyes focused on the journey ahead. He knew that this laughter only masked their anxiety. Ricky sat beside Jed in the cockpit, unable to hide his tension. "We can do this, Captain," he said, trying to motivate himself. Jed nodded, "We will. Trust in the Rusty Bucket, and our instincts." The race quickly entered the first asteroid field, a region filled with massive drifting rocks. The advanced ships activated their energy shields and air navigation systems to avoid obstacles. The Rusty Bucket, lacking such advanced technology, had to rely on Jed's experience and intuition. "Brace yourself, Ricky, we're entering dangerous territory," Jed warned. Ricky gripped the control panel tightly, his eyes tensely following the radar screen. Gordo, at the back, checked the ship's systems, ensuring everything was functioning correctly. Jed focused on maneuvering the ship, feeling every vibration under his palms. He had faced worse situations in Earth's junkyards. With each approaching giant rock, Jed steered the Rusty Bucket with precision, sometimes within inches. "Left. Right. Watch out ahead," Jed commanded, his voice strong and confident. Ricky and Gordo worked tirelessly, following Jed's instructions. They trusted Jed's skills and intuition, knowing he had led them through many challenges before. Meanwhile, the sleek ships of their competitors started to struggle. The air navigation systems couldn't react as quickly as human intuition, and some ships collided with the rocks, causing massive explosions. The Rusty Bucket, thanks to Jed's excellent piloting skills, continued to advance, dodging every obstacle. Gradually, the mocking laughter died down, replaced by surprise and respect. The Rusty Bucket, the ship that was underestimated, was overtaking the more advanced and modern ships. Jed knew the race was still long and full of challenges, but he trusted in his abilities and his crew. In the asteroid field, the Rusty Bucket was no longer just an old ship, but a symbol of human ingenuity and resilience. With each rock they dodged, their belief in victory grew stronger. The Milky 500 race had just begun, and Jed and his crew were ready to face every challenge ahead. As the asteroid field began to thin out, they entered a quieter zone, allowing them to breathe a sigh of relief. "We did great, boys," Jed said through the intercom, his voice filled with pride and encouragement. Ricky and Gordo responded with confident smiles, knowing this was just the beginning of a challenging journey. In this rare moment of calm, Jed could look back and see what they had overcome. The rival ships, once proud of their advanced technology, were now suffering from breakdowns or left behind. The Rusty Bucket, despite being underestimated, continued to forge ahead, a symbol of human ingenuity and resilience. The Milky 500 race still had many challenges ahead, from violent iron storms to the terrifying Erin Nebula. But Jed and his crew were undaunted. They had prepared thoroughly, and were ready to face every obstacle, trusting in their abilities and instincts. With courage and resilience, they would prove that humans are not the underdogs, but the victors, those who can overcome any challenge and conquer any peak. Rusty Bucket and its crew had passed the initial tense moments of the Milky 500 race and were now entering the first danger zone, the asteroid field. This was where colossal, unpredictable drifting rocks could crush any ship that wasn't agile enough or lacked precise control. The light from the rocks reflected off Rusty Bucket's worn hull, creating haunting images on its surface. The pilots of the advanced ships activated their energy shields and air navigation systems to avoid obstacles. Machines whirred and sparks flew from collisions. The sleek ships deftly dodged the rocks, but their systems weren't perfect. Some ships collided with the rocks, causing massive explosions, turning them into useless debris in space. Meanwhile, Rusty Bucket lacked such advanced technologies. No energy shields, no air navigation systems. Instead, it had Jed Mackenzie, a pilot with extensive experience and sharp intuition, honed over years of working in Earth's junkyards. "We're about to enter real danger," Jed warned, his voice deep and calm. Ricky, sitting next to Jed in the cockpit, gripped the control panel tightly, his eyes tensely following the radar screen. Gordo, at the back, checked the ship's systems, ensuring everything was functioning properly. "All right, boys, keep your spirits up. We've faced worse challenges than this," Jed said, his voice filled with determination. He felt every vibration of the ship under his hands, every tiny sound from the machinery. With each approaching giant rock, Jed steered the Rusty Bucket with precision, sometimes within a hair's breadth. "Left. Right. Watch out ahead," Jed commanded, his voice strong and confident. Ricky and Gordo worked tirelessly, following Jed's instructions closely. They trusted Jed's skills and intuition, knowing he had led them through many challenges in the past. The massive rocks flew by, creating strong winds and deafening sounds. The Rusty Bucket rocked and shook violently, but it continued to move forward resiliently. The more advanced ships were struggling with their air navigation systems, and some had already collided with the rocks, turning them into drifting debris in space. Jed knew that his intuition and experience were his most powerful weapons. He had worked in junkyards where avoiding debris and maneuvering through tight spaces was essential for survival. Those skills were now being tested in a much harsher environment. "We're doing great, boys. Keep up the good work," Jed said, his voice full of encouragement. Ricky and Gordo responded with confident smiles, knowing they were on the right track. They didn't have advanced technology, but they had heart and an indomitable spirit. A colossal rock approached, threatening to crush the rusty bucket. Jed quickly maneuvered the ship to dodge it, just in time. The sound of collision rang out as a smaller rock hit the hull, creating dents on the surface. But the rusty bucket kept moving forward, undeterred. "We're nearing the end of the asteroid field. Just a little more effort," Jed said, his voice filled with encouragement. Ricky and Gordo, with determination in their eyes, continued working tirelessly, following Jed's instructions closely. The last rocks flew past, and the rusty bucket entered a quieter zone. They had successfully passed the first challenge. "We did great, boys," Jed said through the intercom, his voice a mix of pride and encouragement. Ricky and Gordo responded with confident smiles, knowing this was just the beginning of their challenging journey. In this rare moment of calm, Jed could look back and see what they had overcome. The rival ships, once proud of their advanced technology, were now suffering from breakdowns or left behind. The rusty bucket, despite being underestimated, continued to forge ahead, a symbol of human ingenuity and resilience. The Milky 500 race still had many challenges ahead, from violent iron storms to the terrifying Erin Nebula. But Jed and his crew were undaunted. They had prepared thoroughly, and were ready to face every obstacle, trusting in their abilities and instincts. As the light from the rocks faded from the rusty bucket's worn hull, they knew the next challenge awaited. But with courage and resilience, they would prove that humans are not the underdogs, but the victors, those who can overcome any challenge and conquer any peak. After passing the challenging asteroid field, Jed Mackenzie and the crew of the Rusty Bucket entered the next phase of the Milky 500 race, the Iron Storm. This is one of the most dangerous areas in the race, where violent electromagnetic storms can disable a ship's systems in an instant, leaving the vessels adrift in space. These storms not only pose technical dangers but also test the pilot's spirits. As Rusty Bucket approached the boundary of the Iron Storm, the atmosphere on the ship grew tense. Outside, electromagnetic lightning flashed, illuminating space with eerie blue and purple glows. Ricky, sitting next to Jed in the cockpit, couldn't hide his anxiety. "Captain, our systems might not withstand these storms," he said, his voice filled with worry. Jed nodded, his eyes focused on the radar screen. "I know, Ricky. But we have no other choice. We have to keep moving forward. Trust in our intuition and experience." He spoke with unwavering confidence, as if he had faced hundreds of such storms before. Gordo, standing at the back, did a final check of the ship's systems. "Everything is stable, but we need to be careful. These storms can cause unpredictable damage," he warned. Jed maneuvered Rusty Bucket into the Iron Storm. Immediately, the ship's systems began to be affected. The radar screen flickered continuously, signals were disrupted, and the engines made unusual sounds. But Jed remained undaunted. He had faced worse situations and knew that patience and his skills would see them through. "Keep your spirits up, boys. We've overcome bigger challenges than this," Jed said through the intercom, his voice strong and resolute. Ricky and Gordo responded with confident smiles, knowing they were doing the right thing. They lacked advanced technology, but they had heart and an indomitable spirit. As the fiercest electromagnetic storms struck, Rusty Bucket shook violently, alarms blaring continuously. The lightning from the storms lit up the cockpit, creating a mystical and frightening scene. Jed felt every vibration of the ship under his palms, every tiny sound from the machinery. He steered the ship carefully, avoiding the most dangerous areas of the storm. "We need to maintain speed and avoid overloading the systems," Jed said, his voice full of determination. Ricky and Gordo worked tirelessly, following Jed's instructions closely. They knew that even a small mistake could cause severe damage to the ship. A particularly strong storm hit, completely shutting down Rusty Bucket's electronics for a few seconds. Darkness enveloped the cockpit, lit only by the flashes of lightning outside. In that moment, Jed had to rely entirely on his intuition. He closed his eyes, feeling every movement of the ship, every howl of the storm. With a quick and decisive maneuver, he steered Rusty Bucket away from a dangerous vortex, and moments later, the electronics came back to life. "We've passed the worst of it, but many challenges lie ahead," Jed said, breathing a sigh of relief but still focused. Ricky and Gordo, though tired, remained determined, continuing to work to ensure everything was stable. Rusty Bucket continued to advance, cutting through the electromagnetic storms like a resilient ship facing a tempest at sea. The howling winds and sounds of the storm, along with the flashing lightning, created a grand and terrifying scene. But inside the ship, a group of resilient and unyielding people worked together, overcoming the harshest challenges step by step. In every tense moment, their teamwork and courage became more evident. They knew that technology alone wouldn't determine victory, but also their spirit and determination not to succumb to any difficulty. Rusty Bucket, though old and patched up, became a symbol of human ingenuity and resilience. As they neared the edge of the iron storm, Rusty Bucket's systems began to stabilize. The alarms quieted, and the cockpit lights returned to normal. Jed breathed a sigh of relief but remained vigilant. "We did great, boys. But don't get complacent. There are still many challenges ahead," he said. Ricky and Gordo, though tired, responded with confident smiles. They had passed one of the most dangerous areas of the race and proven that Rusty Bucket and its crew could face any challenge. With courage and an indomitable spirit, they continued their journey, ready for the next challenges. After passing the perilous iron storm, Jed Mackenzie and the crew of Rusty Bucket entered one of the most challenging parts of the Milky 500 race, the Erin Nebula. This nebula is famous for its swirling clouds of ionized gas that disrupt sensors and navigation systems, creating a dangerous maze that only the most skilled pilots dare to enter. As they approached the Erin Nebula, the sky before them transformed into a surreal painting of colorful gas clouds, ranging from deep blues to vibrant purples, fiery reds, and bright yellows. Enormous, swirling vortices emitted sparks of electricity, creating a scene both breathtaking and perilous. The thick gas clouds reduced visibility, and caused severe interference with navigation instruments. Jed stood on the bridge, eyes fixed on the radar screen that had started flickering erratically. "Get ready, boys. We're about to enter the Erin Nebula," he said, his voice calm but filled with determination. Ricky and Gordo, despite being exhausted from the iron storm, kept their spirits high, preparing for the new challenges ahead. "Captain, our sensors are heavily disrupted. I'm not sure we can rely on them for navigation," Ricky said, his voice anxious. "I know, Ricky. This is when we need to rely on our skills and instincts," Jed replied, his eyes sharp and resolute. Jed reached for an old compass, a legacy from his grandfather, who was once a captain during the golden age of maritime navigation on Earth. This compass did not operate on magnetism but on fundamental principles of astronomy, unaffected by the electromagnetic interference of the Erin Nebula. This compass guided my grandfather through the most dangerous seas. "Now, it will help us navigate through this nebula," Jed said, his voice filled with trust. As Rusty Bucket entered the Erin Nebula, the gas clouds enveloped the ship, making everything outside look ethereal and surreal. The swirling gas vortices churned around them, emitting eerie sounds and sparkling lights. The radar screen was nearly useless, displaying chaotic and unpredictable signals. Jed navigated the ship using his intuition and experience. He listened to every tiny sound, felt every vibration from the ship, and used the old compass to determine their course. Left, Ricky. Right, Gordo. We need to maintain a steady speed and avoid the strongest gas vortices, he commanded, his voice decisive. Rusty Bucket rocked violently as the gas vortices attacked, but thanks to Jed's masterful piloting and the crew's precise coordination, the ship kept moving forward. The lights from the swirling gas reflected off the hull, creating a scene that was both magical and dangerous. A particularly strong vortex swirled directly ahead, threatening to pull Rusty Bucket into its center. We can't go straight through. Swing around to the right, Jed shouted, steering the ship to narrowly avoid the vortex. Ricky and Gordo, with their skill and intense focus, assisted Jed in navigating through the most dangerous zones. Gradually, Rusty Bucket moved deeper into the Erin Nebula, leaving behind other ships that had been caught in the vortices or lost their way in the dense gas clouds. Jed and his crew knew they were doing well but also understood that a single mistake could trap them forever in this labyrinth. As they neared the nebula's center, where the gas vortices were the strongest and most dangerous, Jed felt the tension peak. "Hold steady, boys. We're almost there? Just a bit more," he said, his voice filled with encouragement and resolve. The surrounding gas clouds grew denser, the vortices spun faster and stronger. Jed had to use all his skills and intuition to steer the ship through narrow and perilous paths. Ricky and Gordo worked tirelessly, following Jed's commands and ensuring all systems on the ship remained stable. In the most intense moment, Jed spotted an exit on the flickering radar screen. "We've found the way out. Hold on tight and keep moving forward," he ordered. Rusty Bucket, with all its might and resilience, sped through the final vortices, heading toward the light. As they emerged from the Erin Nebula, the starlight illuminated the ship, creating a spectacular and grand scene. "We did it. We made it through the Erin Nebula," Ricky shouted, his voice full of joy and pride. Gordo, with a radiant smile, clapped in celebration of their success. Jed breathed a sigh of relief but remained vigilant. "We did great, boys. But remember, the race isn't over yet. Keep pushing forward and show them that Rusty Bucket and humanity can overcome any challenge." Rusty Bucket continued its journey, leaving behind the daunting Erin Nebula. They knew more difficulties lay ahead, but with courage and an indomitable spirit, they would prove that humanity is not the underdog, but the victor, capable of overcoming any challenge and conquering any peak. The Milky 500 race was nearing its conclusion, and Rusty Bucket, the old ship of Jed Mackenzie and his crew, had overcome every challenge to get close to the finish line. They had weathered fierce iron storms and navigated through dangerous space regions to reach this point. Now, ahead of them was the final stretch, where victory was just a few steps away. As Rusty Bucket drew nearer to the finish line, they could see the beacon shining in the distance, signaling the end of the race. The remaining ships, including the most modern vessels from alien races, were also heading towards the finish line. However, unlike Rusty Bucket, many ships had broken down or been left behind due to the harsh challenges of the race. Jed stood on the bridge, eyes full of determination. "We're almost there, guys. Keep your spirits up and push forward," he said. Ricky and Gordo, though exhausted, remained resolute, preparing for the final moments of the race. The resilience of Rusty Bucket and its crew became clearer than ever. They didn't have advanced technology, but they had an indomitable determination. "We've come this far not to stop now. Let's show them what humanity can do," Jed said, his voice full of resolve. Other ships, despite being more advanced, were facing technical problems. Rusty Bucket, with Gordo's meticulous care and Jed's skilled piloting, continued to move forward, leaving behind opponents who had once mocked and underestimated them. As they drew closer to the finish line, one of the most advanced ships, belonging to the Garden race, suddenly experienced a malfunction. Its navigation system failed, causing it to drift out of control. The Garden pilots, once proud of their advanced technology, now faced the harsh reality of the race. Jed seized the opportunity. "We can do it. Full speed ahead," he shouted, steering Rusty Bucket to accelerate. Ricky and Gordo, with high spirits, worked tirelessly to maintain speed and ensure all systems on the ship were functioning properly. The distance between Rusty Bucket and the finish line narrowed. The beacon's light shone on the ship's hull, creating a spectacular scene. Jed felt the excitement and joy as they drew closer to victory. "We did it! We did it!" Ricky shouted, his voice filled with pride and happiness. As Rusty Bucket crossed the finish line, the crowd around them held their breath for a moment, then erupted in cheers and applause. The underdogs, the country bumpkins, had won. Jed stepped out of the ship, a wide smile on his face. A Garden pilot approached, his arrogance replaced with reluctant respect. "You humans are full of surprises," he said, shaking his head. Jed nodded. "That's what we aimed for, friend." The crowd surrounded Jed and his crew, their cheers rising like a symphony of different alien languages, all admiring the human underdogs. Jed was immediately swarmed as he reached the podium, a sea of reporters, officials, and curious aliens eager to learn about the humans who had shaken the galaxy. His crew, Ricky and Gordo, followed, beaming with pride. They were no longer just the crew of Rusty Bucket, they were heroes, symbols of human ingenuity and resilience. "Captain," a Garden reporter thrust a microphone towards Jed, "how did you do it? No one expected a human to finish, let alone win." Jed smiled warmly, "Ma'am, we may not have the shiniest ships or the most advanced technology, but we have something better. We have perseverance, courage, and we're not afraid to get our hands dirty." The crowd erupted in applause, cheers echoing like a symphony of different alien languages, all admiring the human underdogs. That evening, as Jed and his crew celebrated at a local bar, a tall, slender figure in a long cloak stepped out of the shadows. The figure moved with a quiet authority. "Captain Jed Mackenzie, I presume?" Jed raised an eyebrow, recognizing the voice. "That's right, and you are?" "Shayla, Senior Advisor of the Trian Empire. May I speak with you for a moment?" Jed gestured to an empty seat. "Of course, Advisor. Have a seat." Shayla sat down, his eyes studying Jed with an intensity that made Jed shiver. "Your performance in the Milky 500 was unexpected," Shayla said slowly. "It seems we have underestimated the potential of humans." Jed leaned back in his chair, his eyes twinkling with mischief. "Well, Advisor, isn't that a kick in the pants? Turns out our country bumpkins have a few more tricks up their sleeves, huh?" Shayla nodded slowly. "Indeed. I am here to propose a partnership." Jed's eyes narrowed, a partnership between the Trian Empire and humanity. "Exactly," Shayla confirmed, "we believe that your ingenuity and our advanced technology could be a formidable combination. Together, we could achieve great things." Jed took a long sip from his drink, pondering the offer. It was tempting, a chance for humanity to finally gain the respect they deserved. But he knew not to trust the Trian, a race known for their cunning and ambition. "Well, I appreciate the offer, Advisor," Jed said finally, "but I need to consult with my people before making any decisions." Shayla smiled, a smile that did nothing to ease Jed's suspicions. "Of course, Captain, take all the time you need. But I assure you, this is an opportunity humanity would be foolish to pass up." With that, Shayla stood and left, leaving Jed with a mix of excitement, doubt, and a sense of foreboding. On Earth, news of Rusty Bucket's victory spread like wildfire. The story of the underdog touched hearts worldwide, a much-needed dose of pride and optimism in a world often overshadowed by conflict and cynicism. In a small Midwestern town, nestled among vast cornfields, Jed's family gathered around a flickering screen, watching the race replay. Jed's mother, Mary, wiped away tears, her heart swelling with pride. His father, a tough but loving farmer, simply nodded, a rare smile curling at the corner of his lips. "That's my boy," he murmured, his voice filled with awe. Jed's victory was not just a personal achievement but a symbol of hope for all of humanity. It showed that even in a galaxy full of advanced civilizations, human ingenuity and spirit could still shine brightly. Meanwhile, on Rusty Bucket, Jed paced the worn metal floor of the cabin, his mind racing. Shayla's offer was a double-edged sword, a potential path to glory and recognition but also a possible trap. He knew he couldn't make the decision alone, he needed to consult Earth's leaders, scientists, diplomats, and military strategists. But more importantly, he needed to consult his crew, who had stood by him through every trial. "Boys," Jed said, turning to Ricky and Gordo, who were busy cleaning tools in the cargo hold, "we have a situation." He explained Shayla's offer, outlining the potential benefits and risks. Ricky, always the optimist, was fully on board. "This is our chance, Captain," he shouted, "we can finally put humanity on the map, show those aliens what we're really made of." Gordo, on the other hand, was more cautious. "I don't trust those Trian folks," he said gruffly, "they're like snakes in the grass, always looking for an angle." Jed nodded, acknowledging Gordo's concern. "I hear you, Gordo, that's why we're not making any hasty decisions." He turned to Ricky, "Get in touch with Earth, son, we need to talk." The message was transmitted across the vast expanse of space, reaching the ears of world leaders and ordinary people alike. The Milky 500 race had ignited a flame of hope in humanity, and now the question was whether to fan that flame into a blaze or let it die out. The United Nations General Assembly buzzed with anticipation. It had been years since such a crucial decision was brought before the global body. Representatives from every nation sat in rapt attention as holographic screens displayed images of Jed and his crew on Rusty Bucket. "People of Earth," Jed's voice echoed through the hall, "we stand at a crossroads. The Trian Empire has offered us a partnership, an opportunity to elevate our status in the galactic community." He paused, his eyes scanning the faces before him, "But this is not a decision I can make alone. It is a decision for all of humanity." A murmur spread through the hall as delegates began to discuss the implications of the Trian offer. The potential benefits were clear: access to advanced technology, resources, and political influence. But the risks were equally apparent: the Trians' history of manipulation and exploitation, their insatiable thirst for power. The debate raged for hours, arguments flying back and forth like laser beams. Some saw the partnership as a golden opportunity, a chance to leapfrog centuries of technological development. Others viewed it as a deal with the devil, a transaction that could lead to humanity's downfall. Ultimately, the decision came down to a vote. The results were close, but in the end, the majority chose to explore the Trian offer. A sigh of relief mixed with a sense of trepidation spread through the hall. Jed received the news with a sense of pride and anxiety. He knew the road ahead would be challenging, but he also knew humanity was resilient, adaptable, and more than capable of holding its own in the galactic arena. "All right, boys," he said to his crew, "looks like we're headed to Trian Prime. Let's show those aliens what humanity is really made of." Rusty Bucket, patched up and refueled, set a course for the Trian home planet. As they sped through hyperspace, Jed couldn't help but wonder what the future held. Would this partnership be the beginning of a new era for humanity or the start of its end? Only time would tell. As Rusty Bucket exited hyperspace, the sight that greeted them was breathtaking. Trian Prime, a world of gleaming towers and shining domes, orbited a binary star system, bathing the planet in a magical light. Jed, Ricky, and Gordo stood on the bridge, faces pressed against the window, marveling at the view. "Well, I'll be damned," Gordo muttered, his rough exterior momentarily softened by awe. "Never seen anything like this." "Looks like the Treant aren't shy about showing off," Ricky remarked, his voice tinged with envy. Jed nodded in agreement, but his mind was already assessing the threats and opportunities ahead. He knew the Treant were masters of manipulation and deception, and he was determined not to let them exploit humanity's newfound fame. As Rusty Bucket approached the planet, a squadron of Treant fighters appeared from the atmosphere, their sleek forms contrasting sharply with the human ship. "Identify yourself," a voice crackled over the radio, cold and emotionless. "This is Captain Jed Mackenzie of the Rusty Bucket, representing the human delegation," Jed replied, his voice steady and confident. After a brief pause, the voice responded, "You are cleared to land, proceed to coordinates 4752. Rusty Bucket descended through the atmosphere, engines groaning and creaking under the strain. They landed on a large platform, surrounded by towering structures of gleaming metal and sparkling glass. As the gangway lowered, a delegation of Treant approached, their movements graceful and fluid. At the head of the group was Shaylar, his face maintaining a polite but unreadable expression. "Captain Mackenzie," he greeted Jed, extending a hand, "welcome to Treant Prime." Jed shook his hand, gripping firmly and unwavering. "Thank you, advisor, we appreciate the invitation." Shaylar gestured to the towering buildings, "Let me show you around, we have much to discuss." As they followed Shaylar into the heart of Treant City, Jed couldn't shake the feeling they were walking into a lion's den, but he also knew this was an opportunity to prove humanity was not the underdog, but a force to be reckoned with in the galactic arena. The city of Treant was a maze of intricate architecture, the buildings towering impossibly high, their surfaces shimmering with a rainbow of colors. As they walked, Shaylar extolled the virtues of Treant technology, their mastery of energy use, medical advances, and sophisticated governance systems. Jed listened politely, nodding at the right moments, but his mind was elsewhere. He was analyzing, assessing, looking for cracks in the facade, for hidden agendas behind the smiles and words. They entered a large chamber, the walls covered in holographic screens displaying data and images from across the galaxy. Shaylar led them to a long conference table, where numerous members of the Treant Empire were already seated. The negotiations began immediately, with Shaylar introducing the representatives and opening with formal pleasantries. "Captain Mackenzie, you and your crew have demonstrated remarkable ingenuity and determination in the Milky 500, Shaylar said, his tone respectful. "We believe a partnership between us would be greatly beneficial to both parties." Jed sat down, his eyes never leaving Shaylar. "Thank you, Advisor Shaylar. We also look forward to this partnership and what we can achieve together." The negotiations lasted for hours, with representatives from both sides presenting potential projects and the benefits of collaboration. The Treant proposed sharing advanced technologies, while humanity proposed joint development projects in energy, medicine, and education. Throughout the negotiations, Jed maintained a cautious but open attitude. He knew that progress required overcoming challenges and learning to work together. But he also knew that potential dangers could not be ignored and vigilance was essential. Finally, after hours of discussion, the two sides reached a preliminary agreement. The Treant would share some of their technology with humanity, in return for humanity's participation in joint development and research projects. It was a significant step forward but also presented new challenges. As the meeting concluded, Jed stepped out of the conference room, feeling the weight of responsibility on his shoulders. He knew the road ahead would be tough, but he also knew humanity was resilient and always ready to face any challenge. "All right, boys," Jed said to his crew, we've made a big step today. But there's still a lot of work to do. Get ready for the journey ahead. Rusty Bucket departed Trian Prime, carrying humanity's hope and determination. They knew their journey had just begun, and there was much to explore and learn. But with courage, determination, and a spirit of cooperation, they believed they could overcome any challenge and achieve great things. After a spectacular victory at the Milky 500 race, Jed Mackenzie and the crew of Rusty Bucket were hailed as heroes. This victory was not only a personal achievement but also a symbol of human ingenuity, resilience, and indomitable spirit. They had overcome seemingly insurmountable challenges and proved that nothing is impossible with determination and courage. Immediately after their victory, Jed and his crew were invited back to Trian Prime for negotiations with the Trian Empire. This was a significant opportunity, not just to strengthen humanity's position in the galaxy but also to build new relationships and open pathways for cooperation and development. Rusty Bucket landed on the surface of Trian Prime, a world of shimmering towers and gleaming domes, orbiting a binary star system, bathing the planet in a magical light. As they disembarked, a delegation of Trian officials awaited them. Leading the group was Shayla, the senior advisor of the Trian Empire, who had watched the race with surprise and admiration. "Captain Mackenzie, welcome back to Trian Prime," Shayla said, his voice polite yet authoritative. "We were very impressed with your performance in the Milky 500 race." Jed shook Shayla's hand, his gaze steady. "Thank you, Advisor Shayla. We are honored to be here." Shayla led Jed and the crew into a towering building where the High Council of the Trian Empire awaited. The council members sat around a large circular table, their faces a mix of curiosity and disdain. They had heard about Rusty Bucket's victory and, although they admired the skill and determination of the humans, they couldn't hide their arrogance. "Captain Mackenzie," one of the council members began, "you have demonstrated your ingenuity and resilience. However, we want to know what humanity can offer the Trian Empire." Jed stood tall, his eyes unwavering. "We may not have the most advanced technology, but we have perseverance, courage, and a spirit that never gives up. We are ready to learn and cooperate for mutual growth." The negotiations stretched for hours, with each side probing the other's weaknesses and testing the limits of their resolve. The Trians offered technology, resources, and knowledge, but at a high price: loyalty to the Trian Empire, adherence to their laws and customs, and a willingness to serve their interests. Jed played his cards carefully, his demeanor a careful blend of gratitude and defiance. He acknowledged the Trians' advancements, but also emphasized humanity's unique strengths, resilience, adaptability, and an unyielding spirit. "We understand the challenges the Trian Empire faces," Jed said, his voice calm yet strong. "Humans have faced many trials and hardships, and we always find a way to overcome them. We believe that through cooperation, we can achieve even greater things." Shayla looked at Jed with newfound respect. "Captain Mackenzie, we appreciate your determination. However, we need to see more evidence of your capabilities." Jed nodded, understanding that to gain true respect and cooperation from the Trians, humanity needed to prove themselves further. "We are willing to work alongside you to demonstrate our value," he said, his voice filled with determination. The negotiations concluded with a preliminary agreement: the Trians would share some of their technology with humanity, in exchange for human participation in joint development and research projects. This was a significant step forward but also presented new challenges. Jed and his crew returned to Earth with renewed enthusiasm and determination. They knew that the journey ahead would not be easy, but they also knew that with unity and resilience, humanity could achieve anything. As they stepped off Rusty Bucket, they were greeted as heroes. Family, friends, and supporters gathered to welcome them back. Cheers and applause filled the air, creating an atmosphere of celebration and pride. Jed looked around, feeling the love and admiration from those around him. "We did it," he said to his crew, his voice full of emotion. "But this is just the beginning. We have an open future ahead, and we will build it together." In the following months, Jed and his crew worked tirelessly to prepare for the collaborative projects with the Trians. They learned from the new technology, shared their knowledge and experience, and developed new initiatives together. One of the most important projects was developing a new navigation system, combining advanced Trian technology with human ingenuity. This system not only improved space navigation capabilities but also opened new opportunities for exploration and resource extraction. Jed and his crew also participated in research projects on energy, medicine, and education. They worked alongside Trian scientists and engineers to develop new solutions to global problems, from renewable energy to healthcare. The cooperation between humanity and the Trian Empire was not always smooth. Tensions and disagreements arose, but Jed always maintained his leadership and resolve. He knew that progress required overcoming challenges and learning to work together. In a special meeting at the United Nations headquarters, Jed delivered an important speech about the future of humanity and cooperation with the Trian Empire. "We stand at a historic opportunity," he said, his voice echoing through the hall. "An opportunity to prove that humanity can not only survive but thrive in this universe. We can learn from our new friends and build a better future together." Jed's speech received enthusiastic applause, not just from leaders and delegates but also from millions of people around the world. He inspired them, bringing hope and belief in a bright future. As the meeting ended, Jed walked out of the hall, feeling the weight of responsibility on his shoulders. But he also knew he was not alone. Beside him was his loyal crew and supporters, ready to face any challenge ahead. And so, Jed Mackenzie and the crew of Rusty Bucket continued their journey, not just to explore the universe but to build new relationships, open new opportunities, and prove that humanity can achieve anything when they strive together. After receiving a warm welcome on Trian Prime, Jed Mackenzie and the crew of the Rusty Bucket began their important negotiations with the Trian Empire. The initial days were filled with lengthy meetings where both sides discussed terms of cooperation and opportunities for mutual development. Jed realized that these negotiations were not merely about exchanging technology and resources, they were an opportunity for humanity to prove its value and capabilities to one of the most advanced civilizations in the galaxy. One morning, Jed was invited to tour one of the Trian Empire's most advanced research centers. This center was located in the heart of Trian Prime, surrounded by towering structures and meticulously maintained biological gardens. Upon arrival, Jed and his crew were greeted by Dr. Vora, a renowned Trian scientist. "Welcome to the Trian Space Research Center," Dr. Vora said warmly. "We are delighted to share with you the scientific and technological advancements we have achieved." Jed and his crew followed Dr. Vora inside the center, where they were led through impressive laboratories and research areas. Everything here was so modern and advanced that it was hard to believe. The Trian scientists worked silently, focused on their projects, but as Jed and his crew passed by, they couldn't help but glance with curiosity. One of the labs they visited was dedicated to renewable energy research. Dr. Vora introduced them to a project developing a new type of solar energy cell capable of converting sunlight into energy more efficiently than any technology humanity had ever known. "This is one of our most important inventions," Dr. Vora explained. "It can power an entire city at a very low cost without harming the environment." Jed looked at the new solar energy cell, his eyes sparkling with amazement. "Incredible! If we could apply this technology on Earth, it would create a significant change." Dr. Vora nodded. "Exactly. And that is our goal in cooperating with humanity. We want to share these advancements and develop together for the benefit of both sides." The tour continued through labs researching medicine and biology. Jed and his crew were introduced to breakthroughs in treating chronic diseases and enhancing longevity. One particularly impressive project was the development of a genetically modified bacterium capable of quickly healing wounds. These bacteria can be programmed to attack damaged cells and stimulate tissue regeneration, Dr. Vora explained as they observed a 3D model of the bacteria's activity in the human body. It has been successfully tested on various organisms, and we believe it will be effective for humans as well. Jed felt a new wave of hope. These technologies could not only improve lives but also save millions. These are truly incredible advancements. We look forward to learning and cooperating to develop them further. Dr. Vora smiled. We feel the same, Captain Mackenzie. This cooperation is not just about sharing technology but also about building trust and understanding between our civilizations. After the tour, Jed and his crew returned to their ship with profound thoughts about the future of cooperation between humanity and the Trian Empire. They knew that progress required overcoming challenges and learning to work together. That evening, as Jed sat on the bridge, watching the stunning sunset on Trian Prime, he couldn't help but think about what had transpired and what lay ahead. This cooperation opened new opportunities but also posed many challenges. Jed knew that humanity needed to prove its value and build sustainable relationships with their extraterrestrial partners. The next day, Jed and his crew were invited to a special meeting at the Trian Prime Conference Center. This meeting brought together leaders and experts from both sides to discuss specific collaborative projects and the next steps. Throughout the meeting, delegates from the Trian Empire and humanity presented potential projects, ranging from developing new navigation systems to researching renewable energy and medicine. Each side offered ideas and suggestions, engaging in lively discussions about methods and implementation. As the representative of humanity, Jed presented his initiatives and vision. He spoke about developing new technologies, improving human life, and building a sustainable future. We believe that with cooperation and support from the Trian Empire, we can achieve great accomplishments and build a better future for both sides, Jed said, his voice full of emotion and determination. The Trian delegates listened intently, and some began to nod in agreement. They saw that humanity possessed not only perseverance and an indomitable spirit but also vision and creativity. After the meeting, both sides signed a formal cooperation agreement, marking a new chapter in the relationship between humanity and the Trian Empire. This agreement included technology sharing, joint research and development, and collaborative projects to address global challenges. Jed felt immense pride and joy. He knew this was only the beginning and that there was much work to be done. But he also knew that with unity and determination, humanity and the Trian Empire could build a bright future together. In the following months, Jed and his crew worked tirelessly to implement the agreed-upon projects. They learned from Trian experts, applied new technologies, and together developed groundbreaking initiatives. One of the most important projects was developing a new navigation system that combined advanced Trian technology with human ingenuity. This system not only improved navigation capabilities in space but also opened new opportunities for exploration and resource extraction. Jed and his crew also participated in research projects on energy, medicine, and education. They worked alongside Trian scientists and engineers to develop new solutions to global problems, from renewable energy to healthcare. The cooperation between humanity and the Trian Empire was not always smooth. Tensions and disagreements arose, but Jed always maintained his leadership and resolve. He knew that progress required overcoming challenges and learning to work together. In a special meeting at the United Nations headquarters, Jed delivered an important speech about the future of humanity and cooperation with the Trian Empire. "We stand at a historic opportunity," he said, his voice echoing through the hall. "An opportunity to prove that humanity can not only survive but thrive in this universe. We can learn from our new friends and build a better future together. Jed's speech received enthusiastic applause, not just from leaders and delegates but also from millions of people around the world. He inspired them, bringing hope and belief in a bright future. As the meeting ended, Jed walked out of the hall, feeling the weight of responsibility on his shoulders. But he also knew he was not alone. Beside him was his loyal crew and supporters, ready to face any challenge ahead. And so, Jed Mackenzie and the crew of Rusty Bucket continued their journey, not just to explore the universe but to build new relationships, open new opportunities, and prove that humanity can achieve anything when they strive together. The collaborative projects between humanity and the Trian Empire yielded astonishing results. The new navigation system allowed ships to move more safely and efficiently through the vast expanse of space. Renewable energy technology was developed and applied on Earth, providing clean and sustainable power to millions. Medical advancements improved health and longevity, bringing better lives to humanity. This cooperation brought not only material benefits but also built sustainable relationships and trust between civilizations. Cultural, educational, and scientific exchanges occurred regularly, helping both sides understand and respect each other more. Jed Mackenzie became a symbol of resilience and the ability to overcome any challenge. He was not only a brilliant leader but also an outstanding diplomat, always seeking to build bridges between different civilizations. When Jed Mackenzie received news about the giant asteroid heading towards Earth, he knew it would be one of the greatest challenges humanity had ever faced. He immediately convened an emergency meeting with Trian and human leaders, to discuss how to prevent this catastrophe. At the conference center on Trian Prime, scientists, engineers, and leaders from both sides gathered to find a solution. Holographic screens displayed images and data of the asteroid, showing it hurtling towards Earth on a destructive trajectory. "We don't have much time," Jed began, his voice calm but filled with determination. "We need to act immediately if we want to avoid a global disaster." Dr. Vora, the leading Trian scientist, stepped forward to present a detailed plan. "We have developed a new technology that can deflect the asteroid using high-powered lasers and explosive devices. However, we will need close coordination between Trian and human ships to execute this plan." Jed nodded, understanding this was their only chance. "We are ready to contribute all necessary resources and manpower. We will work together to save Earth." The meeting continued with intense and detailed discussions. Engineers and scientists from both sides worked tirelessly, drawing up plans and making precise calculations to ensure everything would proceed smoothly. Jed and the crew of the Rusty Bucket also participated in the discussions, contributing their knowledge and experience. The next day, a fleet of Trian and human spacecraft was dispatched. Trian's advanced ships were equipped with powerful lasers and explosive devices, while human ships carried experts and technicians ready to assist. Rusty Bucket, although not the most modern ship, became an indispensable part of the mission due to Jed's skill and experience. "We've overcome tougher challenges than this," Jed told his crew. "Trust in our abilities and let's complete this mission together." As the fleet approached the asteroid, the scene before them was awe-inspiring. The colossal asteroid, with its jagged surface and surrounding space debris, looked like a giant monster heading towards Earth. The spacecraft's sensors began picking up details of the asteroid, helping engineers and scientists calculate where to place the explosives and the angles for the laser shots. "Prepare yourselves," Jed ordered, his voice filled with determination. "This is our one chance. We must do everything to ensure success." The spacecraft began moving into position, gradually closing in on the asteroid. Trian's lasers started targeting the asteroid's weak points, creating small explosions and slowing its speed. Human engineers on other ships worked tirelessly to adjust the explosives, ensuring they would detonate at the right time and place. Rusty Bucket, with Jed and his crew, was tasked with placing the primary explosives at the asteroid's core. This was an extremely dangerous mission, requiring precision and high skill. As Rusty Bucket approached the asteroid's surface, Jed felt the intense vibrations and the howling of space winds. "We need to be careful. One small mistake could lead to disaster," he warned. Ricky and Gordo, intensely focused, began installing the explosives at the marked spots on the map. "We only have one shot, let's get it right the first time," Ricky said, his voice shaky but determined. Once all the explosives were in place, Jed ordered the crew to retreat to the ship. "We need to get out of here quickly before the explosives go off," he said. Rusty Bucket, and the other ships, swiftly moved away from the asteroid, returning to a safe distance. Jed double-checked all parameters, ensuring everything was ready for the detonation. "Countdown starting," Dr. Vora's voice echoed through the communication system. 10. 9. 8. Jed watched the screen, feeling the tension and hope of everyone involved. "We will succeed," he thought to himself. 3. 2. 1. Activate. A massive explosion occurred, a blinding light illuminating space. The asteroid shook violently, debris flying in all directions. The lasers from Trion's ships continued targeting the asteroid's weak points, causing successive explosions. Jed watched the screen as the asteroid began to change its trajectory. "We did it," he shouted, his voice filled with joy. The asteroid slowly veered off course, moving away from its collision path with Earth. The spacecraft began retreating, leaving the now harmless asteroid behind. After successfully diverting the giant asteroid, Jed Mackenzie and the crew of the Rusty Bucket were celebrated as heroes across Earth and Trion Prime. The cooperation between humanity and the Trion Empire had proven that when two civilizations work together, they can achieve extraordinary feats and overcome seemingly insurmountable challenges. But the journey of Jed and his crew was far from over. With the success of the mission to save Earth, they realized that many more challenges and opportunities lay ahead, and that humanity and the Trion Empire needed to continue working together to face the hidden dangers in the universe. Exploring a new planet. One of the next major projects for Jed and his crew was the exploration of a newly discovered planet in a distant star system. This planet, named Epsilon 7, was believed to have valuable resources and the potential to support life. Scientists from both Earth and Trion had spent years studying data from unmanned probes and believed Epsilon 7 could be a breakthrough in expanding habitable areas for humanity and other civilizations. Jed and his crew were chosen to lead the expedition. They equipped the Rusty Bucket with the most advanced technology from the Trion Empire, including state-of-the-art sensors, biological protection systems, and resource extraction technologies. Accompanying them was a team of scientists and engineers from both civilizations, ready to explore and face the unknown on Epsilon 7. As the Rusty Bucket departed from Trion Prime and began the long journey to Epsilon 7, the entire crew felt a mix of excitement and anticipation. This was not just an exploration mission but also an opportunity to strengthen the cooperative relationship between humanity and Trion. Approaching Epsilon 7. After weeks of travel through vast space, the Rusty Bucket finally approached Epsilon 7. The planet appeared before them like a sparkling gem in the dark universe, with deep blue oceans and majestic mountain ranges. They decided to land on a vast plain near a large mountain range, where sensors indicated the presence of valuable minerals. As they landed on the surface of Epsilon 7, Jed felt a surge of excitement and curiosity. "We've arrived," he said over the communication system. "Get ready to explore." The scientists and engineers quickly deployed their probes and began collecting data. They explored samples of soil, water, and atmosphere, hoping to find clues about the planet's history and its potential to support life. Discoveries and findings. In the first few days on Epsilon 7, the expedition team made many fascinating discoveries. They found deposits of valuable minerals such as platinum, palladium, and iridium, resources highly valuable for both humanity and Trian. The scientists also discovered many strange life forms, from glowing plants in the dark to small aquatic creatures. One of the most important discoveries was the existence of a type of bacteria capable of breaking down organic matter into simpler compounds, opening up potential for waste treatment and environmental improvement on Earth. This could be the key to solving global waste problems, Dr. Vora said, his voice filled with excitement. Jed and his crew continued to explore the surrounding areas, using drones to survey remote and hard-to-reach regions. They discovered large caves hidden deep within the mountains, which could hold even more secrets about the planet. Facing danger. However, not everything went smoothly. During an exploration deep into a large cave, a group of scientists became trapped when part of the cave collapsed. Jed and his crew had to organize an urgent rescue mission, using advanced Trian equipment to locate and rescue those trapped. "We can't afford to lose anyone," Jed said, his voice filled with determination. "We will bring them back safely." The rescue operation was tense and challenging. The trapped scientists faced harsh conditions and a lack of oxygen, but with the persistence and skill of the rescue team, all were brought out safely. This was a testament to the spirit of unity and cooperation between humanity and Trian. Development and protection. After completing the initial exploration, Jed and his crew returned to Trian Prime to report their findings. Leaders from both civilizations were impressed with the discoveries and decided to continue investing in the development of Epsilon 7. A detailed plan was established to set up settlements and resource extraction facilities on Epsilon 7 while protecting and preserving the planet's natural ecosystems. Teams of engineers and scientists continued working together, using advanced technologies to ensure that development would not harm the environment. Jed was tasked with leading further explorations and overseeing the establishment of settlements. He and his crew became pioneers, guiding humanity and Trian into a new era of cooperation and exploration. A bright future. As Jed stood on top of a high mountain on Epsilon 7, watching the beautiful sunset stretch across the planet, he felt a sense of satisfaction and pride. He knew that his journey and that of his crew was still long and full of challenges, but with courage, determination, and a spirit of cooperation, they would overcome all obstacles. "We've achieved great things," Jed said to his crew, his voice full of emotion. "But this is just the beginning. We will continue to explore, learn, and build a better future for everyone." And so, the story of Jed Mackenzie and the Rusty Bucket continued, becoming a legend of human ingenuity, courage, and indomitable spirit. It reminded us that no challenge is too great when we work together and believe in our abilities.